Hey, everybody, it's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing all right. We're going to do what we do, which is talk to elite people doing elite things. And today we've got like elite of elite. Rachel, we were just saying, we haven't seen each other in a long time, but we've known each other for a long time. And I'm happy you're on.
Yeah.
Will you introduce yourself to our group? Tell us a little bit about you and your business, and then we're going to get after it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. Like you said, it has been a hot freaking minute since we saw each other. So my name is Rachel Adams Lee, and I am in Northern California. I got into real estate in 2012. My grandma was a realtor. My dad was a realtor for 42 years. Everybody told me not to go into real estate. And I am really good at not listening to what I'm told. So I jumped into real estate. I was actually working a full-time job at the time, unlicensed, and I'm seeing all these paychecks coming through. And I just remember thinking like, man, they're making so much more money than me. At that point in my life, I was in a really different place than I am now. I was in a super unhealthy marriage. I was crying myself to sleep every night, paycheck behind a paycheck. And I just remember thinking these realtors are making so much money. I just got to go do this. And so I jump into real estate. Did an accelerated program, but the thing that got me to jump was I went to a class called Bold, which we all know very well, and I've taken it 9 times now. But I heard a quote that rocked my world, and it was change the way you look at things and the things you look at change, right? Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. So I was always in the scarcity mindset that I couldn't quit my job. It was safe. I knew how much money was coming in, but it was like, what if I bet on me? There's no cap on how much money I could make, and I get to create my own destiny. So I jumped into real estate with both feet. And by that, I mean, literally my first year, I door knocked 200 doors a week and did 3 open houses a week. So knocked 200 doors, did 3 open houses, and I didn't sell any homes for the first 4 months.
Wow.
So you can imagine the kind of like grit and determination I had to keep going, but also like I shed a lot of tears. Like I questioned if it was the right industry for me. Like that is a lot of lead generation without results.
Yeah.
However, I think about my business like a toy car, right? So here's me, and I'm like doing the right thing, doing the right thing, doing the right thing, doing the right thing, and like nothing's happening, but momentum was building. And as soon as it took off, I didn't sell any homes the first 4 months, but I sold 39 the first year, and then 109, then 123. So 3 years in, I hit Wall Street Journal's top 1,000 agents in the country. I've always wanted to be a wife and a mom. That was like my dream in a healthy marriage. So after my divorce, I took 3 years of like personal growth and really figured out like the best version of me. And then I swiped right on Tinder. It does work. And I met my husband, Ryan, who's like, first off, the hottest man that's ever graced the earth. And then secondly, we've got 3 littles now. So we have Henry, who's 4 years old, Harrison, who is almost 2, and Hayden, who's almost 1. And actually, Harrison and Hayden both have a birthday on January 1st. So we have 2 New Year's Day babies. And so, as my career transitioned and I kept growing and building, and I've done it like all wrong. I've had huge teams, I've had small teams, like I've done all the things. But as my career transitioned, I realized that I wanted to create a life that would work for me to build my business, but also be super present as a mom and with my kids and with my husband. And so I turned to social media. I'm self-taught. I really started to dig in. And so what we're going to talk about today is really social media, because last year we had over 130 referrals come through social. And I will say it, like, besides my husband and my kids, man, it's the love of my life. I think it's
Yeah.
so much fun. I get to coach people all around the country on how to build a business through it. And it's a blast.
It's really cool. It's been fun to watch. It would make sense that you want to make that transition because
Yeah.
door knocking 200 homes and 3 open houses a week with 3 littles and a husband, while it could be done, probably not ideal. And so you've made that change, and I'm proud of you
Yeah.
for it. And cheers to meeting your spouse online, because Terry and I met on eHarmony, so it
Did
totally worked.
you?
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I
yeah.
love it.
Before there was no swipe right or swipe left, because when we met, the hottest phone out there was the original Motorola Razr. So it's a little bit different than you. But all right, so we're going to talk social media strategy, and it's one
Yep.
that I think a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with it. I struggle with how to succeed
Mhm.
through social, and so then we get some ideas and implement. But I just like learning from the people. So let's walk through the strategy. I think you've got like 9 points or whatever on how to succeed through this. So let's walk through them, Rachel. What's first?
Yeah, so I've got a 9-step social media model. I think the biggest thing first is people feel like they have to be everything to everyone all the time. And I totally understand that, because like when I forget it was called Clubhouse, there was like this app came out and it was like, oh my God, you have to get it. And I was like, noise. I just hear all these extra things as noise. There's always going to be something new and something exciting. So first off, I want you to pick 1 or 2 platforms and dive deep. When I first started, I began on Facebook. When I got that dialed, I then launched my Instagram channel. When I got that dialed, I then launched my YouTube channel. So I would say pick 1 or 2 platforms, dive deep. And the point of social media, you are either educating people or you're entertaining. You're either educating or you're entertaining. And if you're doing it well, you should be doing a balance of both of those things. So the first thing I do is I talk to people and I say, like, if you're going to build a business through social, I want you to come up with your 5 pillars of content. Your 5 pillars of content. What I mean by that is the 5 things that identify who you are as an individual, why somebody would hang out with you on the weekend, what interests you. Only one of them, guys, gets to be real estate. That's the industry you're in. It's what you do, but it's not who you are. So you write down 1 through 5, and you're going to come up with 5 pillars of content. If you go on my social, you're going to see me talk about real estate and being an entrepreneur. You're going to see me talk about my kids and my husband, because that's my number 1. You're going to see me talk about personal growth and becoming the best version of myself. You're going to see me talk about positive body image. Like, after having 3 kids in 4 years, but we've also had 4 losses and fertility drugs and all the things. Like, I have a journey to learn to like love myself from the inside out. And so I take people along on that with me. And it resonates with a lot of people because a lot of people have body image issues, right? And then I talk about multiple streams of income because I believe in that as well. So first things first, James, you're going to want to have you're going to figure out what your 5 passions are. Then it's how often are you posting? Like, how often are you posting and when do you post? I will tell you that if you Google like best time to post in the algorithm, you might hear like 6:12 in the morning till 7:14. I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to post in the morning when you're ready for social media. Now, I actually use an app called Google Keep. It's completely free. And with that app, what I do is I will prep my posts ahead of time so that I'm not wondering what I'm going to post that morning. And, you know, what I do is like, because I would used to wake up and I'd grab my phone and I start scrolling. And the first thing I do is I see like the mom who just made her kids handmade lunch and wrote the love note. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And then I see someone else who just like got off their treadmill and it's like, you know, drinking their green smoothie. And I'm like, good for you. And then I see someone else who's like, you know, close their 100th house and it's March. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already behind. That's a crappy way to wake up and feel. So I intentionally make my post in the morning so I have like my part out there contributing to society, and then I allow myself time to scroll. But I set a timer, because if you just give yourself like, oh, I'm just going to see what's going on with my friends, 2 hours later you're watching like cat videos on YouTube and you don't know what happened in your life and you're late for a showing and you're shoving a bagel down your throat. Like, we all know how it goes. So I set boundaries. So I post first thing in the morning. And really the main reason for that is people have the most amount of time to respond throughout the day. That really is the idea behind it. And then the other thing is, how often are you posting? If you join my real estate team, you would actually have to sign a social media addendum that says you'll make 3 posts a week. Now, what that is a balance, because I do not expect them. So I post 5 to 7 times per week. If you guys follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you know that I'm really big on doing reels. Video is actually the number 1 thing the algorithm favors above all else. And I've got something I can share with you at the end that can help you with your video. But I post 5 to 7 times per week. My team, I expect them to post 3 times a week. Now, they're posting 2 personal posts and 1 real estate post. 2 personal posts and 1 real estate post. But people get stuck on the real estate post and they think like, oh, I just have to show like the house I just sold or my new listing or my open house. And they flood their freaking social with all the like, look at me, I'm a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, people are going to drown you out and they're going to delete you, because that's not relatable. Like, for sure, you're going to make a real estate post about the house you just sold. You know who's going to like it? Your mom.
Yeah.
And a couple other realtors, right?
Well,
But
I
like,
think people, real quick, I think people want behind the curtain. They want to learn about you.
100%,
I mean,
James.
when I follow you, Rachel, I've followed you for a long time. I love watching your stuff. I just love learning about what you're doing and where you're going and what's happening with your kids. And that's what I like about you. It allows us, this is the thing, like we said, we haven't seen each other in a long time, but we follow
Yeah,
each other online, so we both know what's happening in each other's lives. And it's, I think people want behind the curtain and they want to
100%.
see what's happening in your world. They want to know you're successful in what you're doing. But if it's, here's a question I've posed to people before in the room, and you tell me if this is right. I'll ask, how many of you have, say, a personal Instagram and a business Instagram?
Mhm.
and maybe half the room does. And I go, which one has more followers? The personal one
Always gonna
has
be the
more followers.
personal.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
personal one does. Well, why? Because that's what they care about. So,
Yep.
maybe if you wanna post your standing on the bar pictures, how about you don't post those? And instead, you do tell the story of your life and mix and mingle some of your business in. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, so this is the thing. I posted, wait, let me go in here. I posted this picture yesterday because I have way too many water bottles and
You
I'm on
need
a
more
mission to like
tumblers.
cleanse my life. What'd you say?
You need more tumblers.
Right. I posted this and I talk about I said, I mean, would you say it's a problem? And I talk about how I want to like cleanse myself and be ready for like the new year and just like be, ready to bring in all the good things. But that means you have to eliminate whatever is bogging you down. For me, that was cleaning up my kitchen cabinets, being more intentional on who I surround myself with, like just everything in life. I want to like level up right now. Right. So I posted my water bottles. Do you know who cared about my water bottles? 267 people liked it and 147 people commented because that is real and it's relatable. I talk about real estate 20% of the time. So that brings me to like the next point. How often are you talking personal and how much are you talking real estate? I'm so glad you even brought that up because you're kind of my transition king right now, James. But it's an 80-20 principle. We all know the 80-20 in Keller Williams. Well, what it means on social media, 80% of what you're doing, you're posting is personal. It's you, it's what you're doing, it's what you're reading, it's what you're eating, it's what makes you tick as a person. 20% is going to be real estate. But that 20% is what keeps you consistent for people knowing you're a professional. Do you think anyone questions if I'm a professional realtor because I posted water bottles?
No.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. But they get like a inside peek into who I am. And now they have something in common with me. And
Yep.
then I become relatable because the thing is, when I will be totally transparent with you, James, when I got my divorce, I hid it from everyone because I wanted people to think that my life was perfect. I wanted them to
Mhm.
think I had the perfect life, the perfect job, the perfect hair, the perfect car.
Yep.
And you know what happened? I ended up in the hospital with dehydration because I
Yeah.
was trying to be everything to everyone. And I wasn't being authentic to who I was as a
Right.
person.
Yeah, not taking care of you, not leaning into who you are, and yet people need to hear that someone who is successful also struggles.
Yeah. And I
Right.
think there's a way to talk about struggle without being negative. Like
Yeah.
when I did finally talk about what I was going through with my divorce, James, like I literally made a post and I told everyone on social media that I owed them an apology. I was like, hey guys, I have to come clean with you.
Mhm.
I have been hiding something for the last 3 years and I did it because I thought you guys would judge me or I thought nobody would want to, like, this is a limiting belief I had. I was like, nobody will work with the divorced realtor because I'm
Mhm.
selling the American dream and I'm broken. That is like what I actually thought after a lot of therapy. I know that's not the case, but I was young. I was in my early 20s and I just thought that was the case. And so I made this apology and I said, I want you guys to know that I got a divorce and it has been eating me up from the inside out. And I have decided that I'm going to put myself first. So I'm going on this personal growth journey. I encourage you guys to come with me. And you know what I received when I posted that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable love
Yep.
and support.
I'm sure that was a turning moment in your
It
ability
tra-
to connect with people who were following you.
it changed everything.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure that the number of followers you had went way up after that.
Skyrocketed.
Right. The people felt more relatable to you. Now, the byproduct of that is you also got to hear stories of others that maybe you
Yeah.
weren't prepared. So if you're going to post stuff like that, be prepared that others are going to reach out to
Yeah.
you and figure. But 100%, I think when we're honest and transparent and authentic about who we are as a person,
Mhm.
and if we're going to be on social, then you're kind of making the decision that you're going to do that. You don't have to tell them everything, but to walk through that journey, because first it's healthy for you first, and then it
Yeah.
helps you connect to your people,
Yeah.
and it makes you more relatable. And then
Yeah.
here's what happens: someone's going through a divorce, and they go, we let's just call Rachel and have her help us through this process. Like,
Totally.
let's have her come list the house, and she can walk
Yep.
us through it. Like, I don't
Yep.
know, it just leads to so much
It
opportunity
so
when you're
does. And like,
transparent.
yes, and when I go on a listing appointment, like if I'm dealing with a divorce situation, I can let them know I know exactly what they're going through because I did it. And the relatability piece is, I think, something where people get stuck on like they have to be so perfect, but relatability is really what sells, if you will, because like coming being open with my fertility journey when we had our miscarriages, like my first one I held it to myself and it made me sick, and my second one I told my husband like I have an incredible support system and I'm still struggling. There's people out there that don't have a support system. And he's like, babe, if you want to talk about it, I support you. And I have, connections all around the world, not just the country, but like with people who've gone through fertility, and it's this weird club that nobody wants to be a part of. But guess what? If someone is going to send a referral to someone in real estate and it's Joe Schmo versus Rachel, who they have a connection with on something real and relatable, they're going to go to me and they're going to go to you. And so that's why, like, I know that there's people feel like, oh, I'm a realtor, I sell houses, this is what I do. And it's like, no, you're also human. And I would so much rather know what's happening in your world and send a referral to my friend than someone who has this perfect Instagram page that every photo looks flawless, but like, I know you and your kids were screaming at each other 5 minutes before you took that photo, right?
Yeah. All right. So know your 5 pillars, how often and when, balance between personal and business, then what?
All right. So we got a few other tips. So if you are, so people always say to me like, okay, so I don't know if you know this, but right now only 7 to 10% of your friends are seeing your content. 7 to 10% of your friends. So you hear this word about the algorithm and it's like this big, sexy, confusing word. People are like, I don't know what it means, but I think I want to be a part of it. I know I want to beat it. So the algorithm is your impact and your influence you have on social. It's how much eyes are on your content. Whatever you're looking at on social, the goal of a platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you're on, the goal of that platform is to keep you on it as long as humanly possible. So it's going to feed you more of what you're interested in. The challenge is, how do we make that what people are interested in? You. The rule is to not just talk about real estate, right? And so like my real estate posts are my lowest producing posts. However, that 20% makes people know that I'm the industry professional that I am. But they stick around because of who I am and how I make them feel. Your social media actually isn't about you. It's how it makes other people feel about themselves, which is an interesting thing. And so what I will tell you is, when I think about doing lead generation, so I lead generate on social. And if I told you, James, I want you to lead generate on social, what does that mean to you? Like if I said, hey, I want you to do a lead.
Anybody has a clue what that means. I think the first thing that popped to mind is I'm going to DM people. I think that's the first thing that would come to mind for people.
So for a lot of people, they're like, I'm just gonna like, and I'm like, no, you're a lazy liker. You're not building your business. You're just like, you're not doing things there. And so what I do is I will, when I'm going to do a lead generation block on real estate, I go to a higher producing post that I have. Maybe you have an anniversary or, a milestone, something happened in your world. And you have a bunch of people that like it and a bunch of people comment. Well, say that James likes my post and Christy comments on my post. She's like, happy anniversary, girl. Like say we just went to Tahoe or something. I'm going to comment back to the people who commented to me, which we'll talk about in a sec. But the likes is actually a golden opportunity. They're literally people that are like, hey, I'm right here. I'm watching what you're doing. But it's this weird vanity metric where people are like, ooh, I got 100 likes. Oh, I got 300 likes, right? And so what I do is I actually will I will take that post and I go one by one on the likes. So a lead generation block for me is I go one by one on the likes and I'm proactive. I want to make sure I reach out to that person about something happening in their world. So say James, say that you have a daughter in kindergarten, okay? And she just graduated, or you and your wife just got back from a trip to Hawaii. What I would do is I would go through your social and I would see proactively what's happening in your world. You liked my anniversary post. I'm going to send you a private message. And I'm going to say, hey, James, thanks so much for connecting with me on my anniversary post. Oh my gosh, I saw you and your wife just went to Hawaii. That's so amazing. Which island were you on? So I reach out to you about real estate, but it has nothing to do with real estate. I want to build a relationship with you. And eventually, so I'm going to ask James about him. James, what are you going to do when I ask about you?
I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to ask what's going on with you.
Exactly. And we're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when the transition feels natural, I'm going to say something to James of the effect of, James, a realtor in Florida, right? I'm going to say something to the effect of, hey, James, I really enjoyed getting to know you in our personal life, which makes me think we'd probably align in our business lives as well. I don't have a great referral partner in Florida. Do you have one in Northern California? So 131 referrals. It's not just client and community. It's also agents around the country, right? Like you can build these beautiful relationships with people. And I don't know about you, but I would way rather give a referral fee to one of my friends that I'm connecting with who trust me with real estate than like Zillow.
Some random. Yeah. I think it's really good. All right. Go quickly through a couple of other things. And then I want you to tell them about how they can connect with you more, because this has been awesome and a real good overview. But give us a couple other quick bullets and then we'll talk about what you're doing next.
Another thing you can do to get in front of the people who like you, who love you, who want to refer business to you, I call it my top 25, my top 25. So what you're going to do is every month you're going to pull 25 names of people that you're already friends with on social, but you're not seeing your content. Remember, if you're not seeing them, they're not seeing you. So you're pulling 25 names of people you're already friends with, but you're not seeing them on social. Then this is what you do. 25 names. You're going to pull 25 local business owners 1 month. You're going to pull 25 realtors from around the country 1 month. You're going to pull 25 past clients. My goal for you every month is to pull 25 names of people who you're already friends with, but you're not seeing their content anymore, because they're the ones who are most likely, they already love you, they already like you, they want to refer business to you, but you're not in front of them. If you connect with them with this next tip, the algorithm is going to put you directly in front of those people. So you're the one they're going to send the referral to. And my last tip for you is called my rule of 555. So my rule of 555. So you have this list of 25 people. What do you do with them? So it's the rule of 555. And this is what it is. 5 minutes before you're going to make a post, you're going to comment on 5 people's post, a comment of 5 words or more. So 5 minutes before you make a post, you're going to comment on 5 people's post, a comment of 5 words or more. Who are those 5 people? They're from your list, your top 25. And then what starts to happen, guys, is when you follow this model and you're like posting more personal than you are business, you're following the 80-20 principle, you're showing up at least 3 to 4 times a week, and you're connecting with your people. If they comment, you comment back. You make sure you connect with those likes. Your story views are going to go up. Your comments are going to go up, your likes. But the most important thing is your referrals are going to start to grow.
Right. You're building a relationship.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's building relationships online, and then you take it offline. And that's when the goodness happens.
That's so good. You have, what I love about this is that you've figured this out, right? This is something that you, like you said at the top, you're self-taught this stuff. You figured it out. You've done stuff that's worked and stuff that hasn't worked, and you've come up with a good model, and yet it's always changing. And some people go, Rachel, I just want to sell houses. Like, can I just please go sell houses? I don't know how to create a reel. I don't know what to post. I don't know. And you can help them. And so can you tell them a little bit about what you can offer if somebody's interested?
Yeah, so I have a couple things for you guys. One, if you really want to dig into social media, I have a social media masterclass. It's an 8-week masterclass. We dive into like how to grow your following, we do a deep dive into Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I give you content calendars. So if you really truly want to build your social media, we dig into that model a lot deeper. It's called hellosocialcoaching.com. But if you go to Hello Social Coaching, that's the masterclass. It's 8 weeks. You get access for 6 months. It's self-paced. You go at your own pace. Then my 2 favorite things that I do is I actually have a mastermind group. So it's called Rachel's Coaching Crew. It's $29 a month. It's super cheap, but the content is not. So every month, I go in there twice a month at the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and I coach. Sometimes we talked to, like, I just went through all the marketing I'm doing in 2024. Another time I went through my full listing presentation. Another time I talked about how I broke into the luxury market. So it's all different things I coach about in there, and it's your own referral group. We've had over 91 referrals come through since June. So $29 there. And that's the coaching crew. So if you go to rachelscoachingcrew.com, you can learn about that. And then my favorite thing that I do right now is called the weekly reels. So video is the number one thing the algorithm favors above all else. And so I have the weekly reel system where what I do is every month I pull a trending reel in real estate. I record it. And then all of my realtor clients, what they do is they send me in the raw footage. My team edits it. We add the captions. We add the hashtags. I write the actual post for you. I give you the geo hashtags and the trending audio. All you have to do is post it. And like, the results are so good. Like it's $97 a month for 4 reels, or a reel every single week. So if there's this, if there's an extra week in the month, then you get 5 reels, but it's a reel every single week. And like we have someone who just got 4 referrals from their first reel. Another one of my clients, her social media is up 415% for engagement. So if you're interested in that one, you can just DM me weekly reel and I will send you the link. But really anytime you message me for whatever, I'll always respond.
That's good stuff. I so appreciate you sharing. I think that part of it is the big lesson, I think, from social is just be you. Just show up and be you. Be authentic yourself, and then tell people what's going on in your world as much as you want, and show people some real estate from time to time. But you be you, and you should win. Rachel, thank you. It's so good to see you, and I just wish you great success. And thanks for joining us today.
You bet. Thanks for having me, bud.
You got